Ex-Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort surrendered to authorities this morning to face Russia probe charges. Plus, Houston leaders are joining forces with the NAACP to question the Houston Texans owner's comments on NFL players. And also out of Texas, police say a man dressed as Santa Claus opened fire at a Halloween party. Tonight at 10 on ABC, catch an all-new episode of The Good Doctor. From the ABC Columbia studio, I'm Kimberlei Davis. Here are your trending headlines for Monday, October 30th. As early as today, sources tell ABC News we could see the first arrest in the criminal investigation into Russia election meddling. We don't yet know who could be charged or what those charges may be. ABC's Janae Norman is in Washington with the very latest.
Reaction, Mr. Manafort?
With all eyes on the nation's capital, word of the first arrest in the criminal investigation into Russian election meddling and possible collusion with the Trump campaign. Sources telling ABC News Paul Manafort, President Trump's former campaign manager, and his associate Rick Gates will be charged in the special counsel investigation. Over the weekend, Americans anxious to find out who would be charged after word a senior prosecutor from Robert Mueller's office, who specializes in fraud cases, was at the federal courthouse in Washington and a grand jury approved charges.
Give me a break, okay? Look, the speculation is so insane right now. What we should be focusing on are the continued lies of the Clinton administration.
The president unleashed a tweet storm Sunday morning aimed at Democrats and Hillary Clinton, tweeting there is, quote, so much guilt. But the White House lawyer saying those tweets weren't related to the impending arrest, adding that President Trump continues to cooperate with the investigation. But the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee raising eyebrows by refusing to comment on whether the president himself could be a target of the ongoing investigation.
I can't comment on that, George. I can't answer that one way or the other.
One way or the, you wouldn't know whether Robert Mueller is investigating the president?
I can't comment on that at all.
We're still working to find out what charges Rick Gates and Paul Manafort will face, but Manafort has been under investigation for money laundering and violations of federal tax law, and he's been interviewed about his dealings with Russians. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
Houston Texans owner Bob McNair is under fire for comparing NFL players that protest the national anthem to prison inmates. He apologized for the comment, but local leaders say that's not enough, and they want him to meet with them face-to-face to talk about it. Mahler Carter has details.
Monday evening.
In a news conference, the NAACP, along with other local leaders, voiced their concerns over Bob McNair's comments. They said rather than moving forward, we're moving backwards. In addition to requesting a meeting, they also have a request for the Harris County Sports and Convention Corporation. They don't want Bob McNair's statue to be placed on public grounds. The statue was announced during the Super Bowl and was paid for by the local host committee. Last week, the board approved a feasibility study to examine placing the statue at NRG.
NFL players are protesting inequality in our country. And when their employer responds by calling them inmates in a prison, he not only shows why the protests are needed, he shows that he hasn't even thought about the meaning behind the protests.
The NAACP is sending McNair a letter formally requesting to meet with him today. It was a horrifying scene at a Halloween party in Texas early Sunday morning when a man dressed as Santa Claus opened fire. The shooting left 4 people hurt, and one witness says the man who pulled the trigger was an invited guest. Raven Amber reports.
Crime tape lined Avenue F all day Sunday as police continued investigating a shooting that left 4 people critically injured. It happened early Sunday morning at a Halloween house party around 6 a.m. Tim Kopis,
I've been on this block for about 12 years now,
was one of several people at that house party. He says the woman who threw the party, a close friend, was one of the victims.
Oh, it was a good party. She always has good parties. No, there's never anybody aggressive that comes over. Like I said, she was a victim of gun violence. It was very unnecessary.
Kopis says he spoke with the shooter earlier that night and had no idea something like this might happen.
He's always been very cordial to us. He's always been very stable to us. I don't want to be like that person say, oh, I didn't see it coming. But, you know, like I said, he never showed any signs to me.
He says, luckily for him, he left hours before the shooting started. Another neighbor who didn't want to go on camera says he heard yelling before gunshots rang out.
I heard like a loud, belligerent male voice.
Sounded like he was kind of angry and talking a little bit of smack.
He told me he nearly got involved in the confrontation.
I was hoping that he didn't do anything in my yard. I was maybe thinking that I would have to come out.
Police say when they got there, they found the shooter still dressed as Santa Claus at another location just down the block from where this all happened.
2 of the victims suffered critical, life-threatening injuries. A 3rd person was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and a 4th person was treated at the scene. Police have not said what charges the shooter will face. Visit your app store today to download the ABC Columbia mobile app to stay up to date with breaking news, weather alerts, traffic updates, sports, and more. I'm Kimberlei Davis. Be kind to each other. Have a great Monday, and thanks for watching.
We got a mass catch coming in. Bus crash, 2 dozen passengers.
Love these blank faces right before Armageddon.
Just like every first time. You're a little excited, a little nauseous. Hopefully nobody gets hurt.
We need to get her out of here now!
He's bleeding out.
I need a decision.
Yeah!
Be quiet!
The Good Doctor, all new tonight, 10/9 Central on ABC.